So beautiful camera. This is Leica M3, the most legendary rangefinder camera. I don't want to talk about Leica history, blah blah blah, something like that, because actually I don't know much about it. I just want to sharing with you my user experience on Leica M3. In the early last century, the German made a lot of fine built quality camera that the mechanical manufacture level has never been reached by later camera. The Leica M3 is one of them. First, I want to talk about the hand feel, about this. People who have used film camera for a long time, they all have a feeling that they still miss the action, this action, the wind lever, slowly and squeeze the shutter button in one continuous pull. It is slightly addictive. The feel you wind the lever on different camera are huge different. In the 1960s, the first SLR camera, the Pentax SP, the advanced film action is feel not good. You just feel your finger was pulling the film. But in 1980s, the Nikon FM2, you feel become more better. There was no feeling of your finger pulling the film, just the mechanical actions. But the Nikon F3, it's another level, excellent another level, maybe talk later. The Leica M3 is born in 1950s. It's already reached the optimal feel. The gear works so smoothly and quiet. The feel is better than later camera, even Leica's own M4 and M6. The first M3 was double stroke. That means you have to advance film twice. I think that was to be ensured the film was not be broken, especially in cold weather. The later mode, Leica improved the gear inside, so they become a single stroke and with no problem. The Japanese always prefer to pursue the most original things, original and classic things. They love double stroke M3. The research on Leica is most profound in the world, I think. There are many photograph magazines on market and include some about Leica. Double stroke M3 enjoyed high status among the Japanese Leica fans. Once I met a stranger guy in Shibuya, Tokyo. That time I was using the M3 shoot. He was also using the M3, and he asked me what kind of my camera was used. The M3 was single stroke or double. I answered him, mine is single stroke. So he proudly said his Leica M3 was double stroke. Personally, I didn't like double stroke very much because the two times the angle is different. The first one is more bigger, but the second one is a small angle. And if you are used to most SLR camera, you used to one wind and one shot. With the Leica M3 double stroke, sometimes you may forget the second times. So when you shut the button with nothing, you will miss a lot. The M3 was no battery. That means no internal light meter. It's complete mechanical and a full manual camera. Actually, photographer of that era, they all had ability to estimating exposure. In fact, I think the estimating exposure is ability similar to your cycling or swimming. I remember I was young. We always based on the exposure reference table print on in the film box. It can basically be done almost 90% accuracy, I think. Now the camera with light emitter and automatic function, and we lost that ability. We just don't trust self, and only trust the camera's light meter and automatic function. The camera internal light meter sometimes does not accurate. So we're back to the M3. Since we lost the read light ability, you're using M3, you need a light meter like this. This is a Minolta light meter. I love it very much because it's very accurate. Leica has own light meter, that's mechanical light meter, built for Leica M3 and M2. That was stock on the cold shoulder and with cable link to here. But I don't recommend you use to it. The reason I will talk about later. So if you don't have a light meter, you can download a light meter app on your phone. If you use it correctly, it's still accurate. When using the M3, that's impossible to measure the light before each shot. You just measure the light of scenes. For example, is sunshine or shadow or cloud. You just read the saturation and keep in mind. Then you use the camera to adjust the aperture and the speed. Then you shot. And when you change the saturation, for example, you from outdoor to indoor, you will measuring the light again because the light has changed. So if you shot like this for a long time, maybe you develop the estimating exposure over time. So I said before, I don't recommend or you always keep such a scene on the top of camera. Also, that scene is beautiful, but another reason is you look at this. The most of the M3, they all have that scratcher. That scratcher was that light meter stock on, stock off made. So the Leica meter maybe not just break your camera, maybe break your mind. The M3's viewfinder is the most significant highlight. It is the best viewfinder of all rangefinder camera I have ever seen. When you after use the Leica M6 for a long time, you first look through the viewfinder of the Leica M3, you will be amazed. The brightest viewfinder gives you a big update feeling. But it's like a first generation M camera. The M3's viewfinder have a complicated structure I don't understand. This structure has been closed down after the M3. So when you use the Leica M6, when you forward the light, the anti-flare not as good as M3. The Leica has made 3 different magnification for viewfinder. Magnification, how I explain the magnification, that's a complicated, sorry, my English is poor. But also you just need to know the magnification is about big or small. When you look through the viewfinder, the image becomes small or become big. For example, the 50mm lens is most close to human eyes view. So we suggest one is 50mm. So like our three different viewfinder was 0.58, 0.72, and 0.85. So you think like that. The 0.58 almost the 60% of one. 60% of the 50mm like 30. So that's the reason the 0.58 is best for the wide angle lens. And the second one is the most popular viewfinder on Leica. That's only available on today's Leica. The 0.72 almost 70% of the one. That means the 70% of the 50mm. That is 35. So 0.72 viewfinder is best for the 35mm, right? And the 0.85 is most close to 1. That means is most close human eyes, the 50mm. So the 0.85 is best for the 50mm or telephoto lens. But on M3, you know what? The magnification is 0.91. Is the biggest magnification on all Leica camera. So the M3 available three kind of frame line. That is the 50, 90, and 135. The best experience is when you're using a 50mm lens on M3. So the Leica M3 can use the 35mm lenses? The answer is yes, but must be like this. The Goggle Vision 35mm lens. That's I will talk about part 2 of this video. The M3's framing and focusing is fast. Before the M3 was Leica 3. That camera have two separate windows for frame and focusing, and frame. Actually not a window, it's just like a peephole. It's one for the focusing and then another one for the framing. So that you will spend more time to shot. It's difficult for the snapshot. So that the most famous master was using zoom focusing to take a snapshot. Of course, when you're using the Leica camera for the street shot, you can also use the zoom focusing. That's very cool. But if you're using the Leica M3 or M4, M6, you doesn't need that ability. M3 focusing and framing using the one window, so you can fast take a shot. You looks from the SLR camera's finder that sometimes if the focusing is not already done, your image is not clear. So I think the 90% of people will not push the button because the focusing is not ready. But on the rangefinder, what you look, the view is always clear. So maybe you can take a shot with confidence. But on the SL camera, you will not the confidence for take the shot. But the rangefinder camera is more intuitive to view. The frame line make you feel like you are cropping a photo. You will pay more attention to the composition and timing. Press the shutter button with confidence. and will not miss the moment. The moment is definitely the most important. Photos taken on film, even if the focusing is not accurate, it still can be the excellent photo. But if the digital camera take the photo, the focusing is wrong, it's difficult to accept. With the vintage look and the low profile, it can't make you like this. It make you become a bystander. You walk through the crowd, through the intuitive viewfinder, find the meaningful and interesting people of scenes. You press the quietly shutter button without any attention. It's like Henri Cartier-Bresson look everything calmly outside, or with a little emotion, like Mark Hibben. The M3 load film is not easy. You not just need to take off the pants, and also you need to This will take some time, but I think this is maybe a short break after you're taking a film roll. You can sit down in a coffee shop on street corner and reload your film without hasting. Reload the film, advance film, and press the shut. All of these keep you in a tempo. It is calm, not too fast, slow down tempo. When the M3 finish a roll, the rewinder needs to be like this. The rewind time of M3 is a little bit longer, but I feel it's still better than the Leica M6. The M6 need to be turned hard, which sometimes will hurt your finger. Compared to the Leica M6, I still prefer the M3's rewinder. It is also a comfortable and slow-paced operation. The M3 has a self-timer. The self-timer is basically I think is all camera have this function, but I don't know why the later Leica has cancelled this function. Because the M3 does not have the built-in light meter, so that ISO dial is just a reminder of what kind of film you have got inside. I don't use dancing, but a little bit of red on this scene to be the sign of M3. It's very beautiful and very iconic. The M3 has a black paint body that was very cool, especially when the paint comes off. It will show a golden brass color. Black Panther M3 has become very expensive in the second-hand market because of its rail. Not to mention other collections such as olive green or those with legendary stories. I believe people who buy them will not use it to take picture. The M3 like this, the silver one, is the most common and cheaper. In the Japanese market, a few years ago, the price was the $1,000 to $1,500. But in 2019, the price is rose up very quickly, become more than $2,000. After 70 years, most M3's shutter speed is not accurate. They become slow, a little bit slow. That let you take shot a little bit overexposure. There are high quality overhaul service in Japan. They basically repair and the full restoration of function. It will bring old camera exterior and the function close to the same level as new. The price is more expensive, but it is worth it. My M3 was just adjusted shutter speed once in Shanghai for about $40. The M3 made of brass, which feel solid and heavy in hand. But the heavy is definitely an advantage that Leica fans believe. My friend, when I'm younger, he's my teacher. He's a modern artist painter and paint a lot of, I don't understand and expensive the painter sell to Americans. He said about the Leica interesting. He said that the modern Leica camera, they look like made of iron sheet. The only old M3 and M2 is look like a real camera. The Leica M3 is really simple. You just need 5 minutes to learn how to use it. But for a photographer, I think that's enough. The amazing detail experience will make you like it more and more. The intuitive viewfinder allow you to observe more, become a bystander, and capture moment without attracting others' attention and enjoying it. So thanks for watching. See you.